I am bringing you a story about a cop in California, Antioch Police Department. This guy's name is Devon Wenger. Now, he's not just part of one federal case, which he just got convicted of. He's actually part of two. He is probably going to be facing a second trial. And the first one that we're going to cover is dealing with the fact that he got convicted on count of conspiracy to distribute and possess with the intent to distribute. Okay, that law just sounds screwed up. Anabolic steroids and one count of obstruction of justice. Now, found guilty, going to jail. You're going to hear this in the news articles. He broke the law, tried to cover his tracks. Okay, well, that's normal. Of course, you're going to try to cover your tracks when you try to do it. But conspired with fellow officer to sell illegal anabolic steroids. FBI arrived at his home to investigate, doubled down by destroying evidence of his crime. That is the first crime. The second crime, it turns out that they collected trophies from crime scenes, were sending racist messages to each other. Three of the officers, Eric Rumbaugh, Mortiza Amory, and Devin Christopher Wenger, were charged with disturbing litany of civil rights violations, said U.S. Attorney Ismail Ramsey. The defendants boasted about their illegal use of force, and officers had no intent of de-escalating to avoid violence. And you're going to hear in the second news piece that I have here about how because he didn't have proper representation, he's going to be having a separate trial. So if the first two are convicted, yes, he is probably going to be convicted. So let's get into these two different news stories.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Found a former Antioch police officer guilty of distributing steroids and obstructing a federal investigation. Devon Wenger now faces up to 10 years in federal prison for the distribution conviction and 20 years for altering records to obstruct investigators. He's also scheduled to go on trial this summer on charges of conspiracy and violating a person's civil rights. Now, he is among 14 former cops in Antioch and Pittsburgh facing trial for recent scandals in the police department.
High drama in a Contra Costa County courtroom this week as a former Antioch police officer testified against another officer over violent behavior while on duty and exchanging racist texts. The scandal has embroiled the Antioch Police Department for several years. ABC 7 News reporter Unser Hussing catches up on the shocking testimony.
New details emerged in the Antioch Police Department's racist texting scandal as officers took the stand in the federal trial that began this week in Oakland.
If we were to just take the common sense interpretation of the language that was used by the witness, we can conclude that he was being completely honest and above board.
Criminal justice professor Greg Woods is talking about Officer Eric Rumbaugh, who instead of standing trial is serving as a witness for the prosecution. He took a plea deal in January. Rumbaugh described how he and Officer Mortiza Amiri knowingly used excessive force, falsified police reports, and made sure their actions weren't caught on body cameras, sometimes rewarding each other with fancy dinners.
Those racial epithets, reducing those individuals whom they encountered to be targets for rubber bullets, to be incentivized through the reward of cookies and filet mignon.
The defense tried to argue that some of the text messages were offensive, but that they were cherry-picked or the meaning exaggerated, says lawyer Ben Nissenbaum. He has a separate civil case against some of the same officers involved in the texting scandal. But Nissenbaum says Rumbaugh's testimony disproves that.
You have an officer saying, no, these were not exaggerations. This was not locker room talk. That injects a dose of reality that I think will be persuasive to every juror.
Also this week, a mistrial was declared for a second officer charged in the case. Nissenbaum says the ruling in Devon Wenger's case came after his lawyer told the judge she couldn't provide effective representation, allegedly due to a lack of resources.
Officer Amiri agreed to continue his trial to keep it going on its own, and Officer Wenger's trial will be rescheduled later this year.
Well, it was all problematic. I mean, having, bullet shells on your mantle and saying that those were your trophies, I think was disgusting.
Lamar Hernandez Thorpe was mayor when the texting scandal broke. He praised Officer Rombo for admitting remorse, but he says justice still needs to be served.
It takes a lot of courage to own up to your mistakes, and so I was pleased to see that. And I hope other officers learn from him. And then those who got to be held accountable need to be held accountable for terrorizing this community.
The trial continues next week. In Oakland, Ansar Hassan, ABC 7 News.
So, you heard all of that. What was going on at the Antioch Police Department? I mean, it's California, so we're not even going to get into that whole thing. Rombaugh, who was one of this guy's co-defendants, a member of APD's SWAT team, shot suspects with less lethal 40 millimeter munitions excessively and collected spent munitions for the mantle. Okay. Amory was Antioch Canine Unit Officer who successfully deployed his Belgian Malinois named Percy and took photographs of the victim's dog bites. Amory stored gory and bloody photographs on his personal cell phone as trophies and sent photos to fellow officers. Now, Wenger sent a text message to Amory on August 22nd, 2020, writing, "We need to get something tonight, bro. Let's go 3 nights in a row dog bite. Let's get a homophobic slur, gets to stress out about LOL." About 20 minutes later, Amory sent Wenger photographs of his arrested suspect's injuries. Ha ha ha, Amory captioned the graphic photo. Wenger formerly served in the U.S. Army, trained sniper, according to APD's Facebook page. He originally was a deputy with Sonoma County Sheriff's Department, transferred to Antioch Police Department 2018. Yeah, this is disturbing on so many levels. And this guy's got to go back to court for this. This is what's going on in modern policing. This is why I keep covering it. I'm not against cops. I'm against bad cops. I'm wanting to see some changes happen. I want to see more psychiatric professionals working with police to see which ones need help, and also helping criminals who could be mentally disturbed. Also, I want to see 4-year degrees. I want to see police officers with 4-year degrees. I really do. I want to see better police officers. I want to see better trained police officers. But that's the way that I want things. I don't think it'll happen, but I'm going to keep trying. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.